Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Zachary Balog, and you are watching MediaPlex News Now. Crime Stoppers is one of our community partners, and each week they join us to bring us up to date on what the community can do to play their part. Constable Sarah Werstein reports.
The Windsor Police Service is actively investigating an explosion at a business located in the 2100 block of Chrysler Center Drive. On Thursday, November 4th at 5:45 p.m., officers attended the west side of the building on the second floor and located a suspicious package that had been detonated. Investigators believe this was an intentional act and are seeking any information that may help identify the person involved. Anyone with information regarding this crime is asked to contact the Windsor Police Arson Unit, or should you wish to remain anonymous, contact Crime Stoppers at 519-258-TIPS or leave a tip online at catchcrooks.com. With Crime Stoppers, we will never ask for your name, you will never have to go to court, and you could earn a cash reward if your information leads to the arrest of the person involved. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Easter Seals Comic-Con took place this past weekend, and Alexa Frazier was there.
From playing video games to buying rare Funko Pops to taking selfies with celebrities, this past weekend, Easter Seals had it all. The event was held at the Holiday Inn on Huron Church. Guest speakers like Laura Vandervoot, known as Supergirl, and other actors like Tara Spencer-Nairn, who starred as Karen in Corner Gas, were signing autographs and taking pictures with fans. Miss Galaxy Canada Melanie Reno, who is from Chatham, also had a panel at the event on Saturday.
I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan, but I've never actually been to a Comic-Con. My cousin Jeremy is actually the organizer. He works for Easter Seals, so he told me about this event. He said he'd love to have me here. So that's why I'm here today supporting, and he's a huge Comic-Con fan, but we do have a lot of the, like meeting the Sailor Moon people here was a dream come true. I'm just going to say that.
Easter Seals is Canada's largest local provider of programs, services, and development for the disability community. It has been running for over 100 years. Jason Clennon-Smith, who runs the 501st Legion in his area, said a lot goes into these events. The 501st Legion is all volunteer-based people who have an interest in Star Wars. They fundraise and do charity work in their areas.
A lot of work goes into it. Each member has to make their own costume to qualify to join, and then we volunteer our time to raise money for charities or bring smiles to kids' faces.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Alexa Fraser.
Terry O'Reilly is a Canadian broadcast producer and personality. He is well known as host of Under the Influence, which alone has received nearly 30 million podcast downloads. He joined us via Teams in the MediaPlex, and we asked him about the future of media in Canada.
But, when you look at social media, which is the big change, which, in the bulk of my career, there was no social media. I did not have those channels at my disposal. So I think in some ways it's the most exciting time to be in communications because you have all these additional channels, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all of that, Twitter. To me, they're just channels. To me, the question is, what are you putting in those channels? Like, what is the creativity you're putting in those channels? And most of those channels are, and only too well, they're places to have conversations. They're hard to sell in those spaces. People don't really love a lot of sell in those spaces. So if you look at the social media for Under the Influence, for example, you'll notice that we are constantly talking to our listeners, constantly. Then when it comes time for me to sell a book, I can sell the book because my feed is not just selling, it's mostly talking. So when it comes time to sell, people are willing to listen to my sell. But 98% of the time, they're giving me story ideas, they're giving me episode ideas, they're disagreeing with what I said, they're agreeing with what I said, but we really have a really great back and forth. And I think brands have to learn that it is about a conversation. I think that's what brands are still struggling with. They can't quite shake off the one-way conversation that communication has been for 100 years. They're still trying to get used to the fact that it's a real two-way now. And I think that's just going to increase in the future. It's just going to be even more And I think the good thing about social media and the internet and the digital realm is companies have to walk the walk now, because it's pretty easy to, for a couple of clicks of a mouse, you can get right behind a company and see what they're really thinking and what they're really doing. So I think it's forced companies to be better.
David Mouget was in studio today taping an episode of Face to Face with John Fairley, and he let us know what the next steps are as it pertains to the hospital.
Well, some exciting times coming with respect to planning for the brand new acute care hospital and getting the community engaged in that. And there'll be a lot more coming out very shortly where individuals, if you're interested, say in the NICU or critical care or cardiology, is you'll be able to be part of various town halls and or surveys to get your opinion on what those programs from your point of view should be able to look like. So expect to hear something with that very shortly for the community to get involved and be part of the planning for the new acute care hospital.
Sometimes staying alert and being a student doesn't always mix. Savannah Mills helps us out in this Health Minute.
Students experience a significant amount of stress, and this stress can take a toll on their happiness, mental health, and grades. This can affect sleep patterns, diet, and exercise routines, as well as affecting a student's mental and emotional health. These are some ways to make learning less stressful. One of the most effective ways of reducing stress is to get enough sleep. Sleep is crucial when feeling overwhelmed or stressed, because without it, you wouldn't have the energy to absorb the content you are learning while in class. Another effective way of reducing stress is to maintain a healthy diet and regular exercise. If you want your body to perform well, you need to fuel it with healthy food. There are many different ways of taking care of yourself to avoid feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Beyond taking care of your body, be kind to your mind and yourself by setting reasonable expectations in your daily life and in your schedule. Staying organized is essential to finishing a project on time, so in the end you don't get stuck with a pile of homework that seems impossible to finish by deadline. I'm Savannah Mills, and this has been your Health Minute.
If you think print is dead, think again. Ravishan Wajemane tells us more.
A book is a book is a book. Despite the rise of e-books and audiobooks, the physical book is still alive and kicking in Windsor. Thanks to pulp-loving Windsorites, the family-owned second-hand bookstore in Ottawa Street, Juniper Books, celebrated its 15th anniversary this year. Owner Roger Werdeman says the COVID-19 lockdowns inspired a whole new demographic to frequent his store. Now the majority of his clientele are so-called digital natives, Windsorites between the ages of 20 and 30.
Now it's mostly people under 40 who come in here. I'm fairly confident the actual book will continue to thrive. The feel of a book, the smell of a book, the context it gives you, the immediacy of it, the durability of it. It's a perfect product to me.
According to BookNet Canada, print books saw a 40% drop in sales in 2020 when retail stores closed down in March. However, the number recovered starting May. In the period between May and July, physical book sales grew by 15% compared to the same period in the previous year. For MediaPlex News, I'm Ravishan Vijaymanna.
Youth philanthropy is alive and well. Lori Harrison tells the story of two who are making a difference in our community.
Imagine kids on the streets. Imagine it. It's heartbreaking. It really is.
But they're not causing trouble. Far from it.
My name is Maya Michael, and I've fundraised for 6 years now.
At an age when most kids look to adults for help and guidance, some kids in Essex County are walking into local organizations with bags and bags of socks, cases of food, care packages for winter, and thousands of dollars to help the most vulnerable in our community.
It makes me so happy to know that I've benefited someone in their life.
At 7 years old, Maya never really knew what poor could look like until her young eyes caught the sight of a desperate man looking for food.
I saw a man looking in the garbage and I was devastated. And when I saw the man, it was like a huge kaboom in my head, these people actually exist.
Broken-hearted, Maya asked her father to buy him a hamburger, so he did. That still didn't satisfy her. She wanted to do more. As she looked down at her apple slices in her Happy Meal, she knew she could.
Then I said, well, I have apples at home. I can always eat apples, but how about this poor man? He doesn't get these kind of healthy fruits.
So Maya gave him the apples and decided that she was going to do something to make a difference.
I started thinking about it and I said, why don't we do a lemonade stand to help these people?
She came up with a plan, gathered some friends, and got corporate sponsors to support her.
McDonald's had orange juice for us, Silverstein donated lemons, Fred's Farm Fresh donated lemons, and then so the lemons we hand squeezed ourselves at home. We were about 20 kids and each one on a table trying to squeeze the lemons by hands. It was a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Over the past 5 years, Maya's friends became a group of young philanthropists who have embarked on a mission to change the world, one glass of lemonade at a time. They have raised tens of thousands of dollars and collected thousands of canned goods so far.
It's good to take the generous and helpful path because it's not only helping them, but it's also a learning experience for yourself.
Maya is best known for her annual lemonade stand, but her charity goes far beyond the lemonade. She and her group help anyone they feel needs awareness, funds, and companionship.
Like any day, I'll just be sitting around and I'll be like, today I want to make a difference. And I'll call someone and I'll tell them, we're ready to do something. We're ready to help you guys.
Kids continue to join Maya's friends. Some have gone off to do their own thing, and others have started helping causes in Essex County, such as We Care for Kids. Mostly funded by corporate donors, We Care for Kids started harnessing the power of youth philanthropy. They recently implemented a child-run lemonade campaign, the Lemonade Brigade, that raised $20,000 last year.
It's such a powerful image when you see little kids out there either setting up lemonade stands or hot chocolate stands.
We Care for Kids is not the only organization recognizing the contributions from children. Christine Wilson Furlonger from Street Help says, "You cannot put a price on the contributions made by children." She is proud of their efforts.
It's very important for the children in our community to get involved. The real reason is once they start understanding philanthropy at such a young age, it's going to carry with them for the rest of their lives.
According to Maya, the biggest obstacles children face is lack of support, especially from parents.
Adults have to support the youth fundraisers because if it's not them that support us, who's gonna support us?
Liz Bacon, a recent recipient of the Mayor's Award for Fundraising, has been organizing events for years. Her superhero takeover raises tens of thousands of dollars every year at its sold-out events for cystic fibrosis. Bacon was more than thrilled to introduce and mentor her son Joey in philanthropy when he showed interest at the age of 5.
My name is Joey Nemi, and I've been fundraising for 5 years. The person who got me involved in fundraising was my mom.
Joey has been on the planning committee for the Superhero Takeover for 5 years, gaining experience and learning what it takes to put on a fundraiser.
I asked her if I could be a part of it, and she said, for sure.
After a recent diagnosis of epilepsy, Joey has now added a second fundraising committee to his resume, organizing and speaking at walks and raising money.
We're helping them so we could collect money to give it to the charity. We help raise money and spread awareness.
Bowling shoes on his feet, Joey picks up his ball, walks up to the line, and releases, waiting to see if all the pins fall down at the annual Strikeout Epilepsy event. Among the bowlers are familiar faces from Joey's previous events. They gather to find support in each other. Many of these bowlers know Joey and have heard him tell his story in public before.
I did a speech. There's like a ton of people at the Epilepsy Rock. Like a lot of families were walking and running for their son or daughter or mother who have epilepsy.
Joey is proud to hand over those checks.
You're just like, how much money did you get from that?
Youth in Essex County are finding creative ways to support the causes they believe in. Charities are blown away at their efforts. and members of parliament are recognizing these young philanthropists with awards.
When people come into my office and they need help, I know that there are people out in the community, young people, who are doing this work to help them.
I think the most important thing that I get out of this is learning that others are not always as fortunate as us, and we have to help them. I want every kid to realize that we can make a difference in the future because we are the future.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Lori Harrison.
In this ever-changing world of technology, Caleb Coulter is here to tell us what's new.
Windsor is one of the many cities across Canada receiving funding from the COVID-19 Resilience Stream. This fund, with over $3 billion available, will assist municipalities in updating and improving existing city and community buildings. Improvements to existing buildings could be as drastic as new central air systems, or as minor as retrofitting doors to have touchless sensors. Windsor City Hall, the Adventure Bay Aquatic Center, and even the Windsor City Transport Terminal will all be receiving improvements. Miranda Karen, a student at St. Clair College, says touchless upgrades can be a big deal for some people.
I use the public transit system in Windsor all the time. I have a skin condition, so when doors are automatic and I have to use hand sanitizer, I tend to have an allergic reaction. So I think making the change to automatic doors in all municipal buildings is a very good step for people like me.
The Windsor Transit Terminal is one of the many municipal buildings that will be benefiting from the COVID-19 Resilience Stream Fund. Upgrades will include touchless doors, washrooms, and many other features. The process of improving several city buildings has already begun. More changes are set to begin soon. From MediaPlex News, I'm Caleb Coulter.
Current conditions this evening is clear and 7 degrees Celsius. And now your 3-day forecast. Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 12. Thursday, we will have a chance of showers and a high of 15. Friday, there will also be a chance of showers and a high of 7. And the single-digit highs continue into the weekend and next week. The holiday season is fast approaching, and the Windsor BIA have many activities planned. Debbie Croucher joined us in studio.
So we have holiday light displays, including over 8 illuminated displays, a photo frame, a reindeer, Christmas ornaments, rings, and you name it. So it's pretty exciting. We're color washing the commercial buildings downtown. We have a holiday village in the downtown for November and 2 iterations in December. And then we have Santa meet and greets. We have the gingerbread house competition, and a whole host of activities going on.
Did you know that even the MediaPlex has a history in the city? Here's my report. The St. Clair College MediaPlex is home to future journalists, public relations, and travel experts. But how much do you know about 275 Victoria Avenue? Well, I'll tell you in today's Did You Know? According to St. Clair College, before the MediaPlex became the building it is today, it was a Salvation Army store. However, it closed its doors and was left empty until the college bought it for $1 in 2010. The school then opened that September and has been operating at this location ever since. The MediaPlex is also home to several productions such as The Examiner, MediaPlex News Now, and Friday Live. You can also check out themediaplex.ca for more products. The more you know. For MediaPlex News, I'm Zachary Balog. In Kingsville, a new pickleball court is opening. What's pickleball? Ken Pastishin has the answer.
If you're in the neighborhood of the Kingsville Arena Complex, stop by and take a look at their outdoor pickleball court. It's the new home for the 100-plus member Kingsville Pickleball Incorporated Club. Pickleball is a fast-growing recreational activity, which can also be a competitive sport with tournament play. The game has elements of badminton, ping pong, and played in an area a quarter the size of the tennis court. There are quite a few experienced and friendly pickleballers willing to teach anyone who wants to learn the game. Jules Kay is one of the founding members of Kingsville Pickleball.
Meeting new people, the camaraderie, the sport. I'm 70 years old now, so just being able to get out and run around the court like an 18-year-old, that's perfect.
Mr. Kay was kind enough to invite me to a game of pickleball. Here's what you need to play.
Paddle, wiffle ball, and a court. And believe me, it's not as easy as it looks.
Being a couch potato for much of the pandemic, I also stumbled during many of my rallies. Pickleball is a great way to lose those COVID-19 pounds. Next season, Kingsville Pickleball is planning to grow their membership. See you then. From the town of Kingsville, I'm Ken Pastushin for MediaPlex News Now.
And finally tonight, here is a look at the MediaPlex from the people who study and work here.
Journalism enables people to be well informed. It's documenting history. It's an extraordinary way for people to be connected with their community.
What happens in the world affects us. What happens in our community affects us. What happens in the province affects us. And we get to be the eyes and ears and tell the stories. There are many stories that need to be told, and those things add value to our life.
It's neat to know that so many people are relying on me. It makes you strive for perfection, or makes you strive for accuracy.
The journalism program here at St. Clair College is a convergence journalism program. Convergence means the merging together of print, radio, and television, and the web, and putting all different stories into 3 or 4 different platforms.
I can go out now and I can understand how to write a print. I know how to do social media. I can shoot a video. So you start to trust yourself and to use your journalistic skills.
In 21st century newsrooms, journalists have to be able to do it all.
We ask every one of our reporters to tell stories in multiple ways.
There's a different style of writing for print than there is for radio, than there is for television. And it's really important that the information gets out that is true to those platforms.
We are one of the few, if not the only, program that is actually taking students to a live broadcast and giving them that opportunity and that experience.
I want to be a journalist because I think I like to listen other stories.
午间好，这里是媒体综合新闻节目，我是谭一丹，欢迎收
I
看。
find that the students that come out of St. Clair College are already at or above where some of our broadcast employees have been over the last several years.
I feel that I made the greatest decision I could by choosing this program because I have learned so much, and I think that I can only grow from here.
I would hands down recommend the program to someone considering it. I would recommend it to someone that's not even considering it. They teach you such a vast array of different skills, different platforms, different things that you could really apply to so many different careers.
Based on literally hundreds of interns I've seen over the years, St. Clair students are better prepared to go into the work environment in media than most students coming out of colleges and universities across North America.
I think it's that very comprehensive curriculum that we have that creates converged journalists that sets this journalism school apart.
Remembrance Day is Thursday, and there are many events that you can attend. Isabella Spatafor tells us about a few.
With Remembrance Day coming up, there are multiple services going on in the area. In the city of Windsor, the We Remember Their Stories event has started on their social media until November 10th, sharing local videos of veterans reflecting on their service. On the 11th at 11 a.m., there will be an outdoor Remembrance Day service at the Cenotaph. Anyone is welcome to attend. It will also be live streamed on their Facebook. There will also be a virtual concert on Windsor Classic Chorale's YouTube channel.
Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, the famous war poet, wrote what is one of the most recognized poems in all of Canada, In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow, in Flanders Fields.
With Remembrance Day just a couple days away, we at the MediaPlex took a look back into the archives to bring you this tribute by journalism and media convergence graduate Katie Panasic.
When our veterans stand side by side and when we stand with them, as we do today, we show our continued support to all those men and women we've lost and to the families and loved ones they've left behind. The City of Windsor is a community built on stories, and many of those stories belong to the veterans who call Windsor home. Every year for people in my position, there's a sense of needing to find new words to express the magnitude of respect and sincere affection we have for our veterans. But the more I think about it, and the more I'm trying to do it, there really are no new words. And so I go back to the words that first come into my mind when I think of each and every one of you here today, and what each and every one of you means to us. Bravery, valor, integrity, selflessness, loyalty, and hope. These are the traits our veterans possessed, and these are the traits that they embody today. This is what we remember about those who are no longer here. This is what we celebrate about those who are still standing with us now.
We come together as citizens to honor those who serve and grieve for our losses. As volunteers, it is our sincere desire that you feel the passion of remembrance.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Zachary Balog, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.
I think it's so important to be taught by industry professionals because they know what they're doing. And they're not just teaching because they read it in a book somewhere. They're teaching because they've lived it. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.